She doesn't text me on the weekend. Don't wanna know what she's up to. Calm down. If I close my eyes and focus on my own mind for a while, then it doesn't matter. This love's all I remember. And if it's only for the night, then that would be alright, yeah. And when you're laying there beside him, I hope you crack a smile and think he's no competition. He's no competition when you're with him. His touch, his kiss, your name on his lips. He's no competition. I'm the one you're missing. Oh, I'm the one you're missing. Oh, I'm the one. I always knew that we were different, but I never thought that we'd survive this distance. If I close my eyes and think about all of the times that we said, now that I found it, I just can't live without it. And if it's only for the night, then
it feels like it's taken me an awfully long time to get around to starting this vlog. It is now Tuesday night. It's around 11:30 p.m. and I have achieved basically nothing today aside from getting myself a very nice haircut. I booked in at the hairdresser today. I was supposed to be on Thursday, which would have been much better for me schedule wise, just because I tend to be a lot busier right at the beginning of the week than I am at the end. However, the UK is going into lockdown from midnight tomorrow, so like Wednesday 11:59, Thursday midnight, so my appointment was brought forward. As usual, it took a longest time to do my hair because I have quite a lot of it, but like if you lift it, it is a lot lighter now, and it's pretty much like I've had all of the orange toned out of it, which is fab. I've also had so much of it thinned out, like I have some really short layers now, which is great because my hair is really thick. I never really realized how thick it was because when I was a teenager I used to have it really layered like this and like super thinned out, and then eventually, I think it was maybe 4 years ago, I started getting it blunt cut, and when it grows in at the back, like it mats together at the back of my neck because it just it's too thick. But I've had all of that weight trimmed out of it and it feels so much better, and I'm really happy with it. I'm currently reading, I have started my first book on my November TBR, which is Words of Radiance Part 2 by Sanderson. Sticking with my thing of not explaining this series in depth in vlogs, just because there are so many books in this series and I'm reading them kind of rapid fire. This one is the second half of the second book in the Stormlight Archive. Brief overview, I guess, because I feel weird not saying anything. The Stormlight Archive is the longest, most expansive series in Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, and it centers around a war that is being fought on the Shattered Plains because one side of this war orchestrated the assassination of the other side's king, and so the side whose king was assassinated went to war with the other side as revenge. I'm currently on page 106. I'm really enjoying this. I don't think the pace is like picked up any more than it did in the first half of Words of Radiance. Some things are happening, like I've just got to a plot point about a certain character. Something's happened that I didn't expect that's kind of annoyed me, and I'm currently in the first section of interludes because I did take my book to the hairdressers today to try and read a bit while my colour was setting, and I only read 6 pages, so that wasn't very successful. My action plan, I guess, for my November TBR is I don't even know. So if you watch my November TBR, my Bookopoly TBR plus my Believathon TBR, which is a middle grade readathon hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin, and my extended TBR of further books that I need to read, adds up to 5,600 pages. Now, I am feeling quite anxious, not right in this minute, but just generally a brief overview of how I'm feeling so far in November is anxious because I have a lot of candle orders that need to go. I was having a real rough time this morning because of my appointment being moved. I was supposed to be packing orders today. I knew that my appointment would take quite some time. I usually film on Wednesdays and I do need to film tomorrow, so I wanted to do something tonight. I did get back tonight a lot later than I anticipated, so I'm not really going to get much done tonight. But this morning I was just an anxious mess because I couldn't decide whether to film tonight, whether to stay up late and pack orders and like work into the night. Turns out I don't really have time to do either, so it's just going to be where my schedule has been pushed back a day, so I'll film tomorrow morning and then pack orders through the afternoon. Then I'll edit Thursday morning and make candles through Thursday afternoon, and then I'll send candles on Friday, probably make candles on Saturday, send candles on Sunday. I'm just really hoping to blast through some stuff because I'm not feeling good. Like, November is going to be the busiest month for me work-wise of the year. Usually it would be going into December as well, but I do think I'm going to close in the first week of December and be done for Christmas, because I think at that point I will still have a few orders to go out, so if I take any more then they're not going to arrive in time for Christmas. So that is kind of like my plan with that. So my November TBR, I just decided that I'm not going to stress about it because I do know I am going to do my actual Bookopoly TBR this month. That is only around, I think it's like 2,200 pages or something. It's real small, and to complete that I only need to read 77 pages a day. However, to do the full extended TBR I need to read 177 pages per day, and that is a stretch at the best of times. So I've decided to kind of just accept defeat on that, but I am aiming to read 100 pages per day because that will get me through my Bookopoly TBR, and then I will still have some time to read a little bit extra. So that is my plan for what I'm doing. I'm starting with Words of Radiance Part 2 because I am a co-host for the Stormlight read along, which is a read along of the Stormlight archive, pretty self-explanatory, and our live show for Words of Radiance is due in November. I'm not sure if anybody else has finished yet, but I do only have like 450 pages left now, and in total this is like a 1,000 and something page book, so I'm not doing too bad on that. I have received a little bit of mail today. I received these 2 Amazon parcels. I believe these are from my wish list. However, when I did go to my wish list and count up just to make sure that these were wish list and not things that I'd ordered, there's only one thing missing off my wish list, and I have 2 parcels here. So I don't know if whoever purchased something off my wish list did pick up something a little bit extra, but I am saving my wish list parcels for Christmas now. I know it's real early to be saving things for Christmas because it is early November, but I just like to open my wish list at the beginning of November just so that people have time. I don't want people to feel pressured or rushed. I don't want anyone to feel pressured to buy me anything anyway. Guys, honestly, you don't have to save that money and spend it on yourself, but for those people who would like to, I do just like to give people a bit of time. So thank you whoever sent these to me. I just wanted to let you know that they have arrived, whatever they may be, and I will be opening them in December. Thank you so much. So what I should really be doing now at 11:30 p.m. is putting my pajamas on and getting in bed. However, because I've been feeling quite anxious, to settle my anxiety a little bit, I'm going to go and finish putting glitter on the candles. I did, I think, 3 trays earlier today just before I went out, and I have 5 trays left to do, so I'm gonna go and put glitter on those because it is my least favorite thing to do in terms of candle making. So if I go and do that now, I will feel better when I get around to packing orders with all of that having been done, and it'll make me feel a little bit better about having lots of unproductive time today.
He's no competition. He's no competition when you're with him. His touch, his kiss, your name on his lips. He's no competition. I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm scared to death to lose you, but the truth is, when I'm alone at night and things ain't right, I need to hear you say it, don't lie. He's no
Guys, I received some book mail today. I actually received a couple of things actually, so I'll go get the other thing. So the thing that I received that isn't a book is a t-shirt that I ordered. I will put the Etsy store in my description box that I ordered this from in case you guys want to check it out. I want every t-shirt from the store, but the one that I got first is an Illyrian training camp shirt. So on the front we have a logo. It's just, they do a lot of Sarah J Maas merch, okay? A lot of Sarah J Maas t-shirts. They have Night Court ones, there's Crescent City ones as well. There's a Pack of Devils one from Crescent City that I want, which is Danica's Wolf Pack. But yeah, they do a lot of Sarah J Maas shirts. You'll see me wearing this in videos soon, I guess. But I'm really excited that this arrived, and I will put the shop in my description box if you guys want to check them out. And the book that I received is Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. So I think halfway through October, I was about to chase this up because halfway through October, I ordered Mad Ship by Robin Hobb, and it was really inexpensive to start off with, had free postage. I tend to order secondhand editions of books like this from eBay, but I added Mad Ship to my basket and it said I could get 20% off a second item, and they did have a lot of Robin Hobb in these old style covers that I'm collecting. This was like 3 weeks ago now. Fool's Errand only just turned up. I still don't have Mad Ship, and it's also enormous. You guys will probably know that I've been collecting the mini mass market editions of these books. So I got the old cover, I got the cover I wanted, but this is just huge. To be honest, actually, looking at the size of the text in here, I think that this is going to be a lot easier for me to read, and because it's an old second-hand copy, it's like real floppy, which I do enjoy. So this is the first book in the Tawny Man trilogy, which is going to be the first trilogy that we read. When we finish the Live Ship Traders and gone on a little bit of a break, when we come back, we will be starting Tawny Man. I already have the Ship of Destiny, so the Hobb book that I picked up to have 20% off was the first one in the next trilogy. I don't really know what this is about, aside from that it is the continuation of Fitz's story. It has Fitz and the Fool a lot on the front, which I really like. So to read this trilogy, you have to have read the Farseer trilogy, like plot-wise. I'm not sure how much they relate, but it's a continuation of the same character's story. So I would assume that reading the Farseer trilogy is mandatory before you pick this one up. Reading-wise, I'm doing pretty well. I'm managing to read 100 pages per day, so I'm currently on page 374 of Words of Radiance Part 2. I have under 200 pages left now, so I'm still on track to finish this one tomorrow. I mean, I could finish this today if I push myself, but I'm not going to. If I finish it today, then I do. I'm still really enjoying this. I'm just at the beginning of part 6 now, so the last thing I read was the end of the interludes, and I think that they're the final interludes for this book. Things are happening that I'm not excited by them. There's things happening that are quite upsetting, actually. There's things happening between characters, which I do like that it's happening between the characters, but kind of the consequences for it happening between these characters, I don't like. Shallan is growing on me a little bit. The thing with Shallan is that when she's following the main plot line, when she's following the plot line that involves all of the other characters, I like her perspective. I have no problem with it. It's enjoyable. But she is pursuing a side plot line that relates to her background prior to the start of the books, and also the reason why she ended up where she ended up at the beginning of the books. And that side plot line I'm not too interested in. But yeah, overall, really enjoying this. I feel like it's gonna have kind of an explosive end, but there's quite a few things that are building up and have been building up throughout the entire book, and I'm not sure whether they're all going to come to fruition or whether just one of them, so I still have no idea what's going to happen at the end of this. But regardless, I'm really enjoying it. There's something about adult epic fantasy when I get past the first book in the initial stages where it's all quite a bit slower. I just like reading in the same world. Like, it's comforting to know that every day when I pick up the book that I'm reading, it's the same story. And I think this has a lot to do with why I'm character driven. I just like to follow the same storyline and the same characters, and it makes me feel much more attached to them, which is generally the case with just longer books in general, but it's what I find with adult epic fantasy. So I have to go edit my Illumicrate unboxing, which turned up today, and the edition in that is absolutely stunning. I'm very impressed. And then I'm gonna get some lunch. I think I'll have a jacket potato today and make a whole bunch of candles because it is getting on a bit now in time. It's 1 p.m. I'm working on the Christmas line at the minute, so where I'm up to in the orders is where I can pretty much just keep making Christmas candles and fulfill the majority of my orders. So I think that I'm going to be moving quite a bit quicker than I have been, just because it is the same 5 candles that are in pretty much every order with just a slight variation occasionally. So I'm gonna go crack on with that. I am going to be working this weekend. I aim to package whatever I make today and also make a whole new batch of stuff this weekend. So no rest for the wicked, but I'm making progress, and that's what's important.
On his lips, he's no competition. I'm the one you're missing. I'm the one you're missing. I'm the one you're missing. I'm the one you're missing.
Okay, so I've pretty much just finished Words of Radiance Part 2, and as usual, I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. Brandon Sanderson does this thing I've noticed, especially with this series. We kind of get to the point where there's about 50 pages left, and as the main conflict of the book is resolving, he sets up all the characters for where they're going to be heading in the next book, which leaves me really desperate to read Oathbringer right now, and also a little bit scared for the fact that I'm going to be reading Rhythm of War pretty soon, and there's going to be, I assume, at least a 3-year wait until the 5th book in the series. Everything is finally becoming a little bit clearer in this as well. I mentioned when I was reading Way of Kings that because we are following the perspectives of a variety of characters and the people in this world don't know a lot about it, some of the characters are pursuing further knowledge about the world and the magic system and things like that, but the others who are not the scholars of the world kind of just accept the world that they live in and don't really question all of these things that as a reader we are questioning, because for us this is not normal life, but because it is normal life for the majority of the characters, it's not something that they look into. However, things are becoming a little bit clearer. There are still many questions I have. This world has things like chitinous animals, so they're more insect-like than they are animals, and there are only a handful of real animals around. I think there's a parrot mentioned in here and there's a couple of horses, but the rest are these like chitinous, insect-like or ocean creature type animals. And it's interesting that one big question that I have about this world is, why are the animals like this? It's something that I've been fixated on since I was reading Way of Kings, because in the history of this world or in other worlds there are normal animals because they are referenced occasionally. They're not referenced normally because they're not normal to the characters, so they don't know that like a cat is called a cat, but they do describe them, and we as readers who know what these animals are can figure out what they are. So that is one of the things that I'm really interested about in this. We had some shocking revelations at the end of this, and I really want to continue. However, I'm not going to be continuing for quite some time because we do not have a live show date for this yet, and I'm not going to be picking up Oathbringer at least until we've had the live show for this, because I don't want to confuse myself. With these books being over 1,000 pages long, you spend a great deal of time reading them, and that makes it especially difficult to separate like where one book starts and ends, because it is so expansive and so much happens during just one book. So I'm not going to confuse myself and continue on with Oathbringer. I do have Edge Dancer on my TBR. It's right there, which I will be reading after this one, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So I will be returning to this world and the Cosmere very soon, but I just really want to carry on with Oathbringer because the novella that I'm reading is called Edge Dancer, and from one of the interludes in here I believe I know who that's going to follow. And while I'm sure it's relevant, because you guys have told me that I do have to read Edge Dancer, so while I'm sure it contains a lot of relevant information, if it is following the character that I think it's going to be following, then I'm not as interested, because I want to be following these characters and see what they're doing. But it won't be long till I get to that anyway, so we'll find out what I think of it. So for my Bookopoly TBR, this one was to read an adult fantasy. I am also participating in 2 readathons in November. One is Believathon, which is a month-long middle grade readathon, so this one obviously doesn't count, but the other one is the Clear Your Shit readathon, and I have 3 pages of notes from my Bookopoly TBR, but I do have my notes for Clear Your Shit here. And Words of Radiance Part 2 fulfills a prompt to read a book that features a found family, a heist, or a group. So my next book I'm going to be moving on with is Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the Waterstones edition where all of them were misprinted, which is just fab. I kept saying I was going to go exchange it, but I know that a lot of people who've been to Waterstones complained about the fact that they can't read these copies and have been given a new one and also been allowed to keep this one. However, I'm lazy and I didn't go to Waterstones before lockdown started, so I couldn't exchange this at the moment anyway. Regardless, I have decided to keep it. The issues in this, I believe, are only at the beginning and the end, so oh my god. So we have the publishing information page here, the dedication, and then we also have the rest of the books in the series, although that has already been printed here. And then we go into chapter 1, which is page 1 of the story, then back to a publishing page, then it skips from page 1 to page 7, which is ever so helpful. Then it goes page 4, page 9, page 6, page 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it is the first few pages, and then right at the end of the book it starts again after page 447. So we have 444, 449, 446, 445, 452, 457, 454, 455, and then it goes back to normal again. So I've had a friend send me photos of the pages in here that are messed up. So essentially the entirety of the first chapter and the entirety of the last chapter. So I'm going to be reading those on a photo and then going back into the physical copy of this. If you guys don't know, this is the third book in the Nevermore series, which follows a young girl called Morrigan Crow, who is a cursed child. Everyone in the town that she lives in blames her for absolutely everything that goes wrong in the town, and Morrigan is also destined to die on the eve of her 12th birthday. However, during her town's bidding day, which is where influential members of the community come to bid on children to take on as apprentices, Jupiter North bids on Morrigan and sweeps her away to the city of Nevermore, where he enters her into a series of magical trials to gain entry to the One Sock Society. So this is book 3. I love this series. This is a children's series and the world is just so imaginative, so immersive. The way Jessica Townsend has written this and the amount of detail that is put in there without it being overly explanatory, this world just seems real and it just mystifies me, and I love it so much. So I'm really excited to read this. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. As this is a children's book, this will be my first book for Believathon. So the Believathon this time is a murder mystery that takes place in a mansion, and you have to collect clues to unmask the villain at the end of the readathon. So the first clue that you have to collect is the key so that you can gain entrance to the mansion, and the prompt for that one is to read a mystery. However, this one also fulfills the prompts for the spilled ink clue, which is to read a book with ghosts, the footprints to read a book with a prominent villain, and the hand mirror to read a book with a beautiful cover. And then for the Clear Your Shit readathon, I have this in to read a book that features an animal, because there is a giant talking cat in here who is a character. She's called Finestra, but she is an enormous human-ish sized cat. So this will be the next book that I pick up to read 100 pages a day. I only have to read 30 pages of this, which I don't think is going to be a problem. However, at the moment I am going to print off some candle labels, because this morning I put the glitter on all of the candles I made yesterday. I think I ended up making 54 in the end because I had to do some stuff in the morning, which meant that I got a later start on candle making. But I'm going to print the labels for them, get them labeled up, and pack a few orders today.
If I forget we had plans, when I feel like breaking down, ooh, you'd be there to hold my hand. Lost in my head, pull me back to bed. Oh, oh, when I feel like I got nothing left, I got you. I got you. I got you.
So it is Sunday evening now. It's not too late. It's only around 7:30, I think. But my task that I set myself for the day one was to tidy the reading room. That did not go too well. I have done a bit. I want to rage clean something. I think I would get a lot of joy out of that right now. However, every room at the moment that could do with a good rage clean needs tidying first, and that requires more brain cells than I'm willing to commit to anything right now. But no, I'm gonna do some more in this room on Tuesday, because if you guys remember when my sofa was delivered, it was damaged and they're coming to repair that on Tuesday, but because of COVID and social distancing, I have to be more than 2 meters away from them at all times, which means that I'm pretty much restricted to this room while they're here. So I'll carry on and do some more tidying in here then. And my other task for the day was to edit all of this vlog, because I realized if I can do this, if I can get all of this vlog edited tonight, that is going to save me so much time later in the week. However, is that time really saved now that I have to be in here all Tuesday? Not really, but the intention was there and I was almost successful. So I have started Hollowpox. I'm 82 pages into this. I want to read at least another 50-60 more pages tonight. I'm really enjoying being back in this world. Jessica Townsend, honestly, like, it's hard to explain how much of a good job she does on the world in this series. It's just a feeling. Like, reading these books just feels really, really good. Plot-wise, the third book seems to center on the Wunimals of the world, and a Wunimal animal is an animal that is like sentient, can communicate, like are more human-like, and the plot to this is actually very much like the plot in Wicked, where the Wunimals are using their humanity and their ability to speak and communicate and are turning into the animal or animalistic versions of themselves. So that plot has only just really started. Where I'm up to, I've just been spending time with the characters, you know, we've been doing some stuff, and it feels really good to be back in this world. I am having a really good time reading this. I would have liked to have made a little bit more progress on this so far, but I have been working this weekend. I haven't had like a relaxing chill do nothing weekend, even though I have done some fun stuff. I played a little Fortnite last night with Ryan and Curtis. I also watched one episode of Bly Manor. I read my however many pages I had to read of this. I think I read 40 pages yesterday, although to be honest that is it actually for the fun stuff I've done this weekend. It's fine. I'm counting down the days till December, guys. I have a lot to do, like in terms of Christmas. I've started my Christmas shopping. One of the reasons why the reading room is so desperately in need of a tidy is because the Christmas presents have started arriving, and I just have a stack of them that I need to find a home for. My house is quite big, like in an upwards way, like it's tall. We have 4 floors if you count the cellar, which I don't usually because it's not really a usable space, but it's big like upwards. But downstairs we have absolutely no storage. There is not a single cupboard downstairs aside from the kitchen cupboards. So then everything that you would normally store downstairs, like your Hoover you would put in a cupboard, and DIY bits and things like that, we all have in the cupboards upstairs. So like upstairs cupboards are places where you'd put like towels and bedding and Christmas presents, but because all of the just general stuff that we need to store is all in upstairs cupboards, I don't actually have as much storage space as I would like. But anyway, I'm going off on another tangent, so I think it's about time that we wrap up this vlog. So I do hope that you guys have enjoyed it if you've made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.